So you can create some fantastic effects by doing satin stitch on open weave fabric. So by open weave fabric, I mean this, which is a cheesecloth. It's also called scrim in some countries, but it's a nice open weave cotton. And by varying your tension and playing around with a few different settings on the machine, you can create quite a dramatic effects. So it's great fun to play with, and it's definitely worth having a go. I'm Rebecca, and welcome to the Classic Craft Studio channel. Let's get into today's tutorial. We're going to start with our machine set to a tight zigzag stitch. By that I mean a stitch length must be set to the buttonhole setting if your machine allows you to do satin stitch on the buttonhole setting. Otherwise, you need to set it to the closest zigzag stitch that you can. You'll need to use an embroidery foot on your machine, and you want your fabric guides beneath the needle to be engaged so that they can help you move the fabric slowly. You also want your tension set to slightly higher than normal. But play around with the tension, that's what creates a different effect. So you can start by hooping your fabric in an embroidery hoop. You don't need any backing fabric or stabilizer. You will need matching or complementary threads in your top thread and your bobbin though. It's also important for this embroidery technique, as with all machine embroidery, but especially when you're working with open weave fabric, you want to make sure that your bobbin thread, you put it to the top of your work before you start stitching. Because you don't want any tangles happening, because you can't hide anything with this technique. It's pretty obvious what's happening on both sides of your fabric. For today's project, I've just done a very super simple little leaf design, just to show you the actual technique involved. Yeah, I've also included some cut work and some thread lace further on, so I hope you enjoy. Okay, so you can see where it's drawn the threads towards itself and leaving little gaps there. So you can create quite a fun effect with that. I want to show you is how to cut these middle bits out, and then we're going to do some lace in there. So just to make sure that everything, because normally you would do open cut work lace on a very firmly woven fabric, but because this is this scrim / cheesecloth / very open weave, I'm going to go over it with lines of straight stitch just to make very sure that all of our threads are secure that we need them to be. So literally just setting that to straight stitch. And I am going to reduce my tension down to a number 4, which is the highest tension that one would stitch if you were doing ordinary stitching. And I'm just going to go along the very edge of my whole design, just go around all the outlines. So again, because I'm too close to the edge of the hoop, I'm going to start my stitching sideways and then turn my work, because otherwise the back of my foot here is going to hit the hoop. So. So because it's the inside of the leaves that I'm going to be cutting out, I'll be going around the inside. Around the inside, I'll be making very small stitches to hold it, to make sure that all of those threads stay where I want them to be. So you can see where the embroidery has pulled the threads tight like that. So you can create quite a nice effect if you're doing like a landscape design or something like that. Okay, so I'm just going to use my unpicker just to make the hole to put my point of my scissors in. Okay, so we've cut the fibers away from the inside of the leaf design. Now I'm going to do lines of straight stitch across the open areas. Okay, so just to show you, so I've done my line of straight stitch there. So now I'm going to zigzag over the stitch in quite a narrow zigzag, and then I'm going to have a base in order to do the rest of the veins. Switch to, I'm going to do it on a width 1.5 on my zigzag. So with this drawn thread work, you always want to know where your bottom thread is. So always pull it to the top before you start your stitching. Okay, so my I'm having issues. My needle is pushing, or the thread is pushing this middle bar out the way. So I'm just going to increase my width to number 2. And that way it's falling on either side of that little bar. And now you can see that you've got a thicker bar to work with in the middle. So I'm going to go back to a straight stitch, and then I'm going to be filling in my veins going up the weave. Remember, you always want to do a few stitches into your outer edge just to make very sure that your thread end is secure. Okay, and there we've got open thread work. Okay, I've got a bit of a little tangle at the back here, but that's okay because these threads are so stitched into each other that I can trim that little bit off there. It's not going to make a difference. Okay, so there's, as you can see, it's made very intricate little veins there, super fine. And as you're stitching, it looks like it's not going to work because it looks like this side's going to go one too much that way, but just keep going and you'll see it evens itself out. It's quite magical, really. So, let's do the smaller leaves. So for these ones, I'm just going to go over the edge again with a bit of zigzag, just to make sure that we cover those white threads there. Now we switch straight to a straight stitch. I'm just going to keep it in there where it is now, and we're going to repeat. I like to do 2 little bars of straight stitch, switch to a zigzag, nice narrow zigzag. Okay, and then we're back to our straight stitch. And we have another leaf made there. So again, zigzagging around the outside, and then I'm going to do the inside detail. Just like that. Another open weave lace leaf now. Okay, and then just to show you as well, this one where I didn't go around the outer edge to create this thick black line, I'm going to do it now after it's stitched. You can do it before or after, it's up to you. And there you have some open work. So here I didn't do the middle line of zigzag, so you get extra lines in the middle. There you can see it went slightly skew, so it gives a slightly different effect. There your vein lines are closer together. So there's all different effects that you can create just by altering your stitches ever so slightly. It makes, can make quite dramatic differences. So that's your drawn thread work on an open weave fabrics. And I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. As always, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. See you next week. Bye for now.